Hey, to all my female baggage droppers out there, I have a question for you. Do you like gold or silver? Well, at Brienne and Company Jewelry Store, you can find anything that you like. That's right. Brienne and Company is a jewelry boutique that has durable minimalist jewelry. She uses genuine pearls, local shells and sea glass, natural gemstones, and of course, precious metals. And these are all quality handcrafted designs by Brienne Light herself. Go and visit her at her website, brienneandco.com, or go to her Instagram that's always popping at Brienne and Company. Thanks, Brienne.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage Podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. I am your host, Charles Woolfork, the self-talk engineer, and we have an incredible dude here, a fantastic blessing from the creator above, Marcel Jackson. Now, Marcel is from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and loved engineering since the age of 12 years old. And he's the first to graduate from high school in his family. And then he went on to higher education and went to North Carolina A&T State University, and he went to work for GE in Pennsylvania and in Texas. He's also a career coach that helps people set up their resume and get interviews. And he taught engineering at multiple high schools. And he loves what he's passionate about is also helping empower kids by making sure that kids see a Black engineer on campus. But most importantly, the blessing of them all, he is a husband, ladies and gentlemen, and a father of a 2-year-old outstanding son. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Marcell Jackson. What's up, Marcel?
Yo, what's up, Charles? I appreciate the introduction. Thanks for having me.
Man. So was there anything necessarily that I left out of this highlight reel right here?
Yeah, along the way. So in 2020, September of 2021, I opened up a shared office and co-working space here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So kind of my newest business venture. So besides that, everything else was on point.
Congratulations on your shared space. So tell us about that. Tell us about your shared space and what your intentions were for that.
Yeah, so the title is Ambition Center. I had the idea for this space way back in high school, graduated college. And saw my first co-working space and knew that's exactly what I wanted to do. Just wanted to make sure that I put a place in a city where a lot of companies tend to divest. So I'm like, nope, we could bring life right back into this city, right back into this neighborhood. So yeah, so it's an alternative for people who needed another space to work from, as opposed to just working from home. So yeah, yep. Catering to service-based entrepreneurs, remote professionals, freelancers, creatives, just providing that extra space.
What was it about that space back in high school that really called you to that and wanted you to say, like, man, I need one of these myself?
Yeah, no. So I just had the idea, like, hey, what if? Because I was seeing a lot of just business parks, which is a whole bunch of different businesses. They're all different storefronts and everything else. So the thought was, hey, what if there was a place where a whole bunch of business owners can just all come together under one roof? And that's kind of where that came from. And then it kind of just stuck with me, even though I did nothing to it or with it until this year.
And it became somewhat of an industry as well. I mean, even down the street, I have 2 different workspaces for spaces for entrepreneurs. Here on the island of Kauai, we have a workspace that is primarily for like just people that want to collaborate with one another or have a quiet space away from the house. And there's another one where you have like a podcast station and you have a meeting room and an event space and all these other things. So it's that you fell into it right at the right time.
Exactly. Like now at this time, man, given the state of the world, the pandemic, I believe it just kind of exacerbated what it means to work from home. Might be a joy for some people, might not be the ideal for other people. So just having that third space or that alternative, as opposed to just a coffee shop or a library, just having another professional space to get stuff done.
Real talk. That's awesome, man. And like your story is so outstanding. You know, we talked before. You told me that you loved engineering since you were 12 years old. What called you to engineering out of all things?
Yeah, man. Okay, so I'll tell the story. Let's say I'm I'm short, a lot shorter than you, Charles, man. So I'm running around the apartment, about 5 years old. And, I'm there, I'm playing Power Rangers by myself up, not supposed to be. Stuck a key in the outlet. All the lights went off in the complex. Got a little burn on my finger, right? I had a little spark. So I think that, yeah, I got in trouble clearly. But then I was just curious, like, yo, I'm already like, I know you can get electric. What happened? Why am I still here? Like, right? Like, I knew it wasn't the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. So that kind of like sparked, like pun intended, like my curiosity into electricity and engineering. So I was always the person to say, hey, Marcel, this computer isn't working. Come look into it. Or this VCR, which is, no longer a thing, isn't working. Marcel, come put it together. Come do this. I was always that person. Mm-hmm. And then when I heard the term electrical engineering, they design hardware and components and everything else. I heard that around the age of 12, 13 years old. And I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. So, yeah.
So like, were you always good at STEM? Did it come naturally? Well, obviously you were good at with electronics and like figuring out how things worked, which is super cool. It's kind of like reverse engineering, kind of like, I think, was it Steve Jobs that used to take computers apart, or was it Bill Gates?
I think it was Bill Gates.
Yeah, Bill Gates used to say. So you're good at putting things back together, like VCRs and such. But like, was math and all those other science? Were those the subjects that you really excelled in?
Yeah, exactly. So school was relatively easy for me. Really love math, science, just about everything except biology. So I knew I would not be a doctor. So besides, science was definitely interesting, just understanding how the world works. So yeah.
Dang. So wow. So school came easy to you. You wanted to be an engineer. So with North Carolina A&T State, tell us about your experience. You're the first to graduate from your high school in your family. Please, man, just expand on that just a little bit, bruh.
Let me go back. Not high school, college. So
sorry, bruh. No, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. But but yeah, so it was that interesting. So my parents, first generation college student. So my parents did not go to college. But again, I'm the smart one, right? I like school. School is easy. You're going to college. So I think that's all I heard growing up. Tried to rebel a little bit, still didn't work. So I was pretty much going uncharted territory, figuring out financial aid, figuring out just what it means to be like a college student, and especially out of state. That was my first time being in the state of North Carolina when I went to college. So trying to understand all these dynamics, right? But the campus was amazing. The energy was super, super high on campus. Found my tribe, my squad, just people I can hang out with. Being a historically Black college, the energy is different. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of energy. It's not the biggest school, right? So it feels a little bit more intimate there. So yeah, man, I went, fell in love with the school during orientation and just knew I was in the right place. So yeah.
Right. That's so awesome. All right. And then you graduated, and how did GE come into place with everything?
Yeah. So I was at a conference for National Society of Black Engineers and went to an alumni came back to the conference to come recruit, told me about GE Transportation, which was in Erie, Pennsylvania. Again, never been there, but it's cool. I'm from Wisconsin. Like I'm okay with the North. I'm okay with it. So I went interviewed with him for a summer internship, and it was fun, man. Honestly, so they build trains or locomotives that so still a thing, right? Still the most efficient way to get stuff back and forth. So I had an internship before with Marathon Oil Company in Louisiana, and it was a lot of, I got into the field, the refinery every once in a while, but it was like behind the desk, everything else. Literally my first day at GE Transportation, I was on an old locomotive in a rail yard, and they were like, don't wear khakis to work. I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those internships. Sign me up, right?
Yeah.
So the experience was there. From there, kind of interview for a full-time position before I left that summer. Got it. So I started my senior year with the job already there. So that's one stress off my plate. Excited about that. I already got a full-time job going into my senior year of college. So yeah, man, the rest was history.
Boom, boom, bruh. Like, how fortunate is that? Like, you just continue to have things line up for you throughout your life where engineering was going to be the thing that you were continue to be passionate about and do.
Exactly, exactly. It was no, definitely fortunate. I'm definitely blessed in that regard.
Amen. And you return the blessing to the community, bro. Like, so there's a lot of different things you do. Tell us about the blueprint and not the Jay-Z album.
Yes, yes, yes. So the blueprint, Milwaukee, there we go. Was started by two amazing brothers out of Wisconsin. They're actual brothers. They just wanted to change the scene of tech in Milwaukee. So it's a lot of, hey, we need to go to Silicon Valley. We need to go to a tech hub. We need to go to New York. It's like, nope, we got the talented people right here. So they put together a cohort focusing on minorities, Black people, and women in technology right here within the city of Milwaukee. So this year, well, in 2021, they expanded to add another city, Green Bay. So the Packers, Green Bay, right? So they're like, hey, Marcel, we need someone to go and teach about MVPs or minimum viable products. So, okay, it'd be a little techy, but I'll bring it right back. So it's pretty much is I have this idea, I have this something I want to put out. What can I do with the least amount of money for low cost or no cost to prove out my idea, to tell people it works so I can take it to investors and get some money, get some financing, just because I understand and I especially being people in tech, people with ideas, especially minorities and women, we're kind of left out of the funding conversation. So we have to be creative. We have to be strategic. So how can we do this with the least amount of revenue if I don't have all of this money to hire a developer? So I just introduced a bunch of different free or no low cost technologies that they're able to do just to teach themselves and kind of keep going. They were able to go and pitch to investors and everything else. So I think the funding and all of that stuff is coming out later. but yeah, so I was able to do that. So for 12 weeks, I went and taught a class on how to build minimum viable products or MVPs.
That is so cool. So like you're helping them get even further into becoming an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. Because once they have that MVP, they can just build their value ladder off of that.
Exactly. And it's pretty much, it won't be perfect. Done is better than perfect in any situation. Is, hey, let's get it out to the people. Let's test it. Let's beta test it. Let's prove that something is there. So that does two things. One, it kind of proves out your idea because does the market want it or not? If people are willing to give you something, whether that's money, email address, a sign up, a subscription, something, if they're exchanging information for you, like it's some value there, right? Or it's like, hey, I got to go do something different. if it's not there. So you're able to learn fast without spending a whole bunch of resources. So yeah.
Real talk. It gives people, like you said, a starting point. And then with entrepreneurship, I found that over the last 2 years that it has been a thing to where you just keep pivoting. You can pivot with your messaging, you can pivot with your marketing, you can pivot with your product, you can pivot from thing to thing to thing. And no matter what, as long as you keep trying, you're going to keep getting better. There's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. So As long as you have them in that space where they can try something and get some feedback so they can grow more, then man, that's a wonderful place to be in. It's a space where they can improve until they finally get what they desire, which is that freedom that they want.
Exactly. Nope. You hit it right on the head. It's build, measure, learn, build, measure, learn. Kind of keep going in that circle.
Wow, that's the cycle that you guys teach in the program.
Yep, correct. Yep.
Man, that's so awesome, man. Especially you bring into the consciousness to Black folks, man. Like I don't know anywhere like in Cincinnati back when I was a kid that ever did anything like that. I'm sure there's some more like, maybe the Urban League, but nobody went to the Urban League for real. You know what I mean? Like not that I know like that. You feel me? But like building that place where Black folks can come together and build this consciousness with one another is so important, man. Like there's so many brilliant minds that just don't have the consciousness that once they get it, they can apply all this street knowledge that they have, right? These street smarts that we have, and then apply it to the market, and then off we go.
Exactly. We're some of the most resourceful people on the planet. So yeah.
Ain't never lied. Okay, and like another thing that you're very, speaking of giving back to the culture and empowering Black people, another thing that you do is you say you want to empower kids by making sure that they see a Black engineer. Tell us about like the origin story of that and how that got started within your mindset.
Yes, I'll do two things. It's so funny. I just ran into this guy. So I met so 12, 13, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I met my first Black engineer at the age of 17. I'm a senior in high school on my way out. He worked for an energy company here, naturally. So got connected with him at an event. So I'm like, hey, can I shadow you? Can I do this? I want to learn more. Like, this is exactly what I want to do. But, and he basically ghosted me. But cool. I just recently seen him at a Bucks game like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I was like, maybe he had a lot going on. But yeah, so that's that part. So I wanted to make sure that, hey, you're able to see somebody in this technical field, just because like we lose a lot of people in the STEM field. So not just it's a thing across all races in the United States, but then also just Black engineers is just like we're scarce, right? Everyone, when I tell them, hey, I have a degree in electrical engineering, oh wow, you like a unicorn, right? Like, yeah, let's change that. So I want to make sure that they have those options. So that's one. So, and because I didn't see that many engineering opportunities, I left, right? I went to college in North Carolina. You mentioned I lived in Pennsylvania and Texas, and eventually came back to Wisconsin. But yeah, so I wasn't aware of these opportunities. And then two, working for GE. So I mentioned the internship. I'm telling people I'm from Milwaukee. They're like, hey, why didn't you work for GE Healthcare? They're headquartered there. I'm like, since when? Been there my whole life. Never seen them, right?
Right.
Just a lot of reasons, right? But as far as just companies like that presence within schools. So if we're really thinking about building around students, around youth, like it takes more than just the parents and the teachers. Like it takes the community, it takes corporate as well. Like how are we all wrapping around them, exposing them to as much as possible so they can make an informed decision about what they want to do and where they want to go next. So I proudly came back to show them, one, like big corporations here within the city, different opportunities. And then two, like Black engineers, they're here. I'm from this city. You can do it too. And again, I've been having my pulse on the community a ton. So volunteering in every state that I go in, but I think it's a little bit different being back home and seeing, because it's like, hey, I literally went to school down the street there and I can write, or I grew up on this street. Right. So I think that message hits a little bit differently being back home. So yeah.
Hell yeah, that hit differently. You know what I mean? Representation is everything. And when you have representation of someone that actually grew up where you grew up and been through what you've been through within your environment, and then they like make it to a certain height that seems so that doesn't even seem that is quite rare. Like, bruh, that is huge to put into a kid's psyche, to let them know, see, like, man, he did that, and I can grow up and I can be like Marcel, bro. That's fantastic, dog. That's fantastic, man.
Exactly. So I'm here. I'm doing my part, man. I'm doing my part.
Bruh, doing it in a major way, bruh. Man. And so how long you been teaching in the schools now?
So I started teaching in 2017. Okay. Yeah. So 2017, 2018, I taught that school year. 2018, 2019, taught that school year. And end of 2019, 2020, before the pandemic hit, so the contract ended in January, I was teaching mobile app development to a group of high school students here in Milwaukee, Cyber High School. And kind of paused on teaching, of course, pandemic, right? Until I just kind of restarted the blueprint. Now teaching adult and entrepreneurs, MVPs and everything in 2021. So it's kind of been sort of consistent.
Yeah.
But now kind of just outside the classroom. Yeah.
100%. Like, as long as you have that affinity and that passion for teaching, that's really what matters. And, whether you show like Black, you're showing Black folks, whether it be the children or the adults, you're showing them what's possible on the amount of success that they can have. Like at every level, people need that type of motivation and that inspiration. And that's what you're providing for them.
Exactly. No, thank you.
Yeah, for real. And then so to say all that, and then you still got a day job, bruh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got the good 9 to 5.
So what exactly do you do for GE?
Yeah, so I migrated from traditional design engineering into technical project management. So I'm a staff technical project manager for GE Corporate. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. So let's make it real. So if you think about a company like GE with like thousands of employees across the globe, so we all have assets, right? We have work cell phones, we have laptops, we have stuff on a manufacturing floor, we have machines, we have a lot of things, and if you think about now, with just the amount of cyber incidents, cyber attacks, cyber all of this stuff, people are trying to hack into businesses and everything else. Like literally, companies are paying millions of dollars and being held up on ransom because we have your customer data and we're not giving it back, right?
Yeah.
So he's being proactive and saying, hey, we know we have a whole bunch of assets. We need to be able to get to it within like 5 minutes if anything happens. It takes a little bit longer than that today, but how do we go and respond to something? So a lot of my job right now is figuring out how do we go? How do we get every single asset? If we got Charles' laptop and he's in Cincinnati, I know you're not in Cincinnati right now, but you're in Cincinnati or whatever, how do we go get that line of sight very, very quickly to say, hey, we need to take this off, can we? Because if you go take a machine off in the middle of production, that might cause some other stuff. So you got to be sure, you got to be certain, you got to have enough data to just kind of keep going. So yeah, so pretty much just figuring out a better strategy, just respond to any incidents if they should happen. So that's what I do by day.
That's a lot of responsibility. It seems like does it like I go I try to go deep into subjects. So
Okay.
first thing I try to do, like I'm talking about deep as far as emotionally, because
Okay.
emotionally that seemed like that could be heavy for a corporation to like kind of bestow this responsibility upon you and this to have this job. Do you ever feel a heaviness at all?
No, not in this role. That's the beauty of teams. So yeah, so we have a global team that's there, that's looking at some things, and that's all we're all working together just to achieve like this one common goal.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that's the benefit of working for a big corporation is like that.
Yeah.
That burden is spread across. So
very cool.
Doing their parts to protect the company, and we're good. So yeah,
very cool. So like how long has it been since you had that certain position?
yeah, it started in May of 2021. So
oh wow,
fairly new.
Congratulations on the promotion. Man, like you're just an inspiration, you know what I mean? Like it was ever since we met, I felt like, it's just been a major bond. And I see why. It's because I see the creator shining through you so much in so many ways. And you inspire the crap out of me to make me think like kind of like E.T. the hip hop priest. You ever heard of him before?
Yeah, E.T.
Bruh, E.T. like that's how you make me feel like, man, I got to get off my seat and go do something, bruh. Like,
wow, man, no, that's a great compliment. Never got that comparison before, but cool. I'll take it.
Like, man, like you're so involved in so many different things. Like you just said, like I asked you I'm telling folks, like first thing I asked you, how you feeling? You said exhausted.
Yes. Oh, what's funny? I was having a career coaching conversation with someone else who's looking to get into the field, and she's like, "Hey, I feel like I'm all over the place. I want to be in HR, and I'm freelancing this, and I started this nonprofit, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that." I'm like, "Okay, solid. It's exhausting work, but you have to prioritize something.
Yeah.
What do you want to do first? What do you want to work on?" Right. So it's kind of understanding. So I guess within that exhaustion, as long as it's a bit of structure there, it'll be all right.
I'm sure you have structure. And how's the balance with all these different things and your family? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So my wife told me we try to achieve balance, try to achieve harmony. Right.
Yes.
Because things are going to be up and down, but do you have can you flow with it? Can you move with it? Can you keep going and kind of understanding? Similar, like work will be super busy and then it'll be some down periods, right? So, and how do you balance those down times? But yeah, being a family man and an entrepreneur and a corporate guy, it sometimes takes its toll, but it's a couple things that we continue to do. So we have date night every week. So my mother-in-law keeps our son. So every Thursday, there's been a couple years now. So we started this when we were dating, and now like, hey, like we're gonna make time. We're gonna make sure that we're spending time with each other outside of being parents, outside of being. She's an entrepreneur as well, so that comes with its own dating another entrepreneur. So hey, we make time for that. We still got shows that we watch that we catch up on. Things like that. So it's just being intentional with that time and just making sure that, you know, if it's a busier day like today, that we kind of plan for that, kind of keep going. And then when we check out. We also have like these do nothing days where we're not responding to emails, phones. We're just sitting there. We're not even cleaning the house. We're doing nothing, right? Because you're like, I'm doing nothing. Then the whole house is now cleaned and everything. And now you're exhausted. It's like, no. So we probably about once a month or every other month, we just take a time. We just zone out. If we just want to sleep, we want to do everything else, but just kind of really unplugging. So I think some of those things just kind of help and go and recharge for the next cycle.
Beautiful. Like I never heard of it like that before. Don't try to achieve balance with achieving harmony. That's a beautiful way to put it. You know, as long as, and you know, the understanding that she has is probably ridiculously amazing because you're both entrepreneurs. She knows how it is.
Yep.
You know, it's like, oh yeah, do what you gotta do. That's one thing, you know. I started dating a woman in 2019, October 2019, and she's beautiful and she's smart, she's funny, she's kind. The one thing that I was most attracted to, that I knew I could be with this woman long term, was that she's an entrepreneur, because I knew that she was working on her dream. Not just working, she's successful. She's manifested her dream now. You know what I mean? But like, she would get me. She would get like, we wouldn't have conversations like, man, I can't wait to earn my promotion, or man, I really feel like I'm worth more. No, she goes out and gets it. And having that similar mindset is so beneficial about having conversations about where I'm, you know, what my vision is for the company, or like who else can I help in different avenues, and my down times when, you know, sales aren't the best. Like it's all that things that, you know, she can tell me about her experience with her being in business for 7 years. And I feel just a great amount of comfort and a great amount of connection with her because of that.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience. It is definitely an experience. No, that's great to hear, especially just being aligned on your mindset. Like that's super important. Yep.
100%. So, bruh, it's a pleasure to me for you to be on this podcast, because not only do we talk to people that are dope that can give you hope, like yourself, but also we show you a technique that can help you cope. And that technique is where I literally help people drop their baggage, years and years and years of baggage. And so this process is called mental and emotional release. I talked to you a bit about it before. You're going to do years of personal development, years of therapy, and have multiple breakthroughs within minutes. Like it's going to be nuts.
I said, all righty. I'm a little intense. I trust you, Charles. I trust you.
Hey, no, the best thing is I do the talking, you do the walking. It's just a simple, systematic guided meditation. I'm gonna talk to the audience real quick. Please, out there, everybody out there, please don't try this at home by yourself. You can hit me up at charleswoolfork.com, or you can actually experience it at dropyourbaggagechallenge.com, where I'm taking people actually through it. Also, Marcel, I am not a social worker. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm none of that. You know what I mean? I'm just an alternative to helping people with their mindset. And with that, so you said that you wanted to help, or you wanted to get rid of the mindset or the limiting belief that other people's opinions matter. Would you dwell on that just a little bit?
Yeah. You want me to talk about it? Oh, you said dwell. Look, I'm like,
not dwell on it. I'm sorry. Would you elaborate? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So, Wow. Okay. Cool. Let's go
Oh,
deep.
all right. Let's. I'll start. So obviously, I've told you my story. I never met my father before. He and my mom got into it before I was born. He left. Okay. And that turned me into a people pleaser with no boundaries. And due to that, all I wanted to do was just be accepted. I just became the class clown, and I would go along with whatever trends, and I would talk like somebody else and do something else. And I always just wanted to be accepted. So not only was I looking for acceptance, but I was also caring about what other people thought of me, because I felt like that defined me, because I didn't truly know myself. You know what I mean? So I definitely had my struggles with other people's opinions and the fear of this, and like me just feeling like I'm not good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how does it affect you?
Yeah. So yep. So going back, I would say again, I've accomplished a lot of things, right? A lot of things. I would say even so going back to my dad, because daddy issues are real, right? Came home, whole 4.0, showed him and everything. He's like, okay, cool, that's what you're supposed to do. It's like, okay, cool, no, nothing. So I'm here, I'm achieving a lot of stuff. I don't think it was recently, so maybe 2 years ago, he's finally like, yo, I'm proud of you. So I'm like, okay. So trying to get that opinion, trying to always just like, okay, cool, with just being a parent, being there, like I'm doing all these things. I'm graduating, I'm doing this, I'm helping the community, I'm doing it. Like to finally hear that. Yeah, other thing too, even my wife and I talked about is like, hey, everybody's not your friend, everybody's not here to help build you up and everything else. But for me, it's like, yo, we met, we're connected, whatever you need. So kind of just overextending myself for people all the time, even when it's not reciprocated. It's like, oh well, they didn't mean that. Everything because in my mind, I want to be looked to as like a really dope guy, a really great guy, someone who's always there, someone who's, so yeah. And I don't really deal with negative opinions, negative feedback. I'll say even in a corporate setting, right? Because you have to go and a GE, like you have to have a development, like you have to have something that like you can't have all fives across they have to be like you fell short on there. So even being there, even dwelling on that a little bit to like, well, what could I've done and how can I do better and everything else, because I want to be seen as a decent, as a great worker in their eyes. So that's like just some of the things that came top of mind when you spoke on that. So I'm always I don't know, I'm always overgiving because I want to always keep this clear, crisp image like in people's mind, as opposed, but like in my mind, I know like, yo, we're all flawed, like chill, but my actions don't show that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, real talk. Like, and that's the thing. It's about what's in your consciousness compared to what's in your subconscious. So in your conscious, you're like, we're all human. I'm doing my best. I ain't got to be perfect. And your subconscious is like, man, that's not good enough. Like you gotta make sure that you go over and above in order to like win that approval that you probably wanted. You know what I mean? From your pops.
Yep.
Do you ever feel as though I'm not good enough?
Yeah.
I think that's the one. I think it's less about other people's opinions matter. And I think it's more about you just feeling like you're not good enough on the inside. And literally, like I learned how to do this modality in 2018. Mm-hmm. I swear to you, I didn't stop. I had to keep doing this modality until last year. So for 2 years straight, I've been doing this modality to get rid of all the layers of just nonsense and all the layers of limiting beliefs and all the layers of baggage in order to like really feel that within me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, but like it's better than 20.
Yeah, come on now. Yeah.
Hey, so so if you think back to a situation like with your pops, like when you were younger, tell me how that like in your body, like go back to that moment and tell me how you feel like physically in your body when you think about that moment.
Yeah, just heart beating a little bit
Mm-hmm.
faster, just like it. You said I was exhausted earlier, but like maybe a little bit more, like gasping a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah. And so you feel it in your heart and then your like esophagus area right here.
Yep. So yep, just right. Yep, right here.
Yeah. And that's how it always feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I just have to think back. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Like think of other scenarios where you may have felt like the at the company, or with your wife. Think of other scenarios where you may have felt that. I want you to be aware of how it feels in the body, so we can have a before feeling and an after feeling. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's still right here, more in the chest if I think about everything else, just kind of beating fast. Like, yeah.
Got you. Cool. So we're gonna get rid of that limiting belief today. All right. So yeah, I'm not just having you put your business out there for no reason. No worries. All right. So with this modality, all you got to do are three things. Number one, you got to use your imagination.
Okay.
Number two, you got to follow directions just like you follow a recipe or Google Maps.
Okay.
And number three, you got to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide, and I'm going to be leading you through this easily and effortlessly. And I come from a place of love and high vibrations.
Okay.
Awesome. We're going to create an imaginary timeline. Now, with your imaginary timeline, your past can be to your left, to your right, or behind you. So if you were to know, where is your past?
Yep. Fine.
Perfect. Where's your future? All right, full speed ahead. Now with this exercise also what's very important is that you have empathy for everybody involved. So though your perspective is very important, what's more important is that you see from the perspective of other people so you can have a deeper sense of healing and the epiphanies that you can have. So you can just have a profound experience. Cool.
Cool.
Let's get it. All right. So with this, is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this limiting belief that I'm not good enough today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yes.
What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, that will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you felt like I'm not good enough between the ages of birth and 8 years old?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Okay. So getting in trouble in
Go ahead.
school.
Go ahead.
Getting in trouble in school. Kind of just not just a little hard headed in like the second grade pretty much. So yeah, it was just their parents coming up to the school and just like, oh no, Marcel's doing this. Like, hey, he's the smartest kid in the class, but like he doesn't behave. He's in detention every single day. So yeah, so I just so I think maybe that was the first time I'm really feeling like disappointment from my parents. So yeah. So that's probably the earliest thing I can think about.
Got you. That's the one. So with that, you can go ahead and close your eyes and relax and let me know when you're ready for the process.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Now just imagine floating up above your timeline. Now float behind you and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past. Above that first event in which you felt like I'm not good enough when you were just a little kid. And I want you to see yourself at school and just hover above that event and see yourself like a fly on the wall. Let me know when you can see yourself in the whole event.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. Now, just stay right there and see the teacher or administrator and see your mom and dad and see yourself as that little boy. Don't move. Now, just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event, the learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings.
I think they're grown.
Awesome. Now, keep your eyes closed. And with you observing the event, tell me, what did you learn from the event?
It's just a moment.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Yeah, it was just a little boy being a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Not to make it off gender, but yeah, it's just an 8-year-old running around trying to figure out life.
That's right. What does Marcel need to know, man?
Yeah. One is it's not as bad as it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Things get better. Things will get
better. A couple more things. Was he loved?
Yes. He didn't feel that in the moment for years.
That's right. That's right. And also, was he good enough?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Did anybody ever in that whole event feel like he wasn't good enough?
No.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float behind you and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above the dinosaurs during the prehistoric age. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs.
All right, we're there.
Okay. Now, as you're above the dinosaurs, just imagine floating deeper and deeper and deeper into space to where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right. Now listen closely. Just imagine floating up above your timeline, high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you felt like I'm not good enough, from birth until now in chronological order. Don't skip one event that has a charge on it. Preserve the learnings and let go of that limiting belief that I'm not good enough all the way back to now. Go.
It's all gone.
All gone. Awesome. Now just you can go ahead and float down into your body and open your eyes when you're ready. Welcome back.
Hey, welcome.
Oh my gosh. How was that?
Freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why you say that?
Yeah, no, as I was going, just reflecting on the different situations, it was more so, I guess, me telling myself I'm not good enough, not necessarily anybody vocalizing that, right? So, and then also realizing that, I guess the moments were kind of amplified in my head, even though it wasn't necessarily reality. So yeah, just kind of going, just thinking about some stuff.
Yeah. Like it's all about perspective, right?
Yeah.
And it's like if all of a sudden anybody's whether it be criticism or if their projection of their baggage comes out, it's not like a whisper, it's like it's like amplified by so much, like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just and I mean, hindsight, right? It's just, anything you've been through, if you're still here, you made it through, right? So it's just so yeah. Yep.
That's fantastic. I'm sorry, what was that?
No, I said it was one of those moments as I was. Yep.
It's crazy, man. All right, so let's test it out. Do you smell bacon?
No.
Okay, I just asked that question to get your mind off the meditation.
Nah.
All right, sorry. Can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
Nah, I'm not feeling it.
You're not feeling it. Yeah.
I can remember. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. That's what, so you like that constriction in your, like, from this chest to the esophagus area doesn't.
Yeah, I was just thinking about a situation and it wasn't all of that. So yeah.
That's cool. How does that feel now? How does it feel in your chest and everything now?
Cool, good.
Yeah.
yeah. Good. Yeah. Everything's fine.
You seem like nonchalant about it, like the past. Just like, yes. Yeah, just let it go.
Oh, sort of. Oh, no, I think the feeling part was important, like you were saying. So it's just like, if you're releasing and everything. So now if I'm thinking about it, I'm not physically going back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Talk through it. So yeah.
That's awesome. I want you to go out into the future, to an unspecified time in the future, in which, if it would have happened in the past, you would have felt like I'm not good enough. But it's the future now. So see if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I can't find it.
Congratulations. You just released your limiting belief.
Thank you.
Yeah. So freeing, you said. What is it for you from?
Yeah, just being down, like being down on myself.
You carried a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
How do you feel about it now?
I feel like it's not that bad, right? Does that make sense? Because even so, future moment, I'm like, okay, cool. If I go into the future with my son and now I feel like I'm not right, like it's starting to be, if I made a mistake or whatever, and not feeling that, like, wow, it's like, forgive, I did the best I could, right? So that's kind of what was there. So I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like, we'll talk. we'll get some understanding, but yeah, it's not like the world isn't falling. So
yeah. What with that scenario with your dad, what helped you, what learnings helped you release that?
Yeah, just like doing the best he could, what he was given. So I was like, man. So at that point, when you kind of like change that perspective, it's like, I can't really, like, now I'm choosing to be mad. Like, I'm choosing to be mad at you now, because this is what happens. Like, if you ain't know no better, or if you didn't, right, or that was the best you could do or drum up in that situation, then okay.
Yeah, that's real talk. And it's like kind of putting the weight off of someone else's words. You feel me? Like, it's a thing to where you, like, I wanted acceptance from, like, not just my father, but my mom so much. But then when I realized, hey, my mama's got her own baggage, you know what I mean? And she's doing the best, like you said, she's doing the best that she can muster up with, like, in all of these different scenarios throughout my life. I can't judge her. Like, it would be wrong for me to judge her, because I know that I'm just a human being and I'm flawed in so many different ways. So, like, damn, like, just squash it and move on, and know that and have a higher understanding of who I am. Like,
Yep.
I'm this divine expression of the creator.
Yep.
You know, so it's like, yeah, that stuff. Once you get it though, it's different because, like you said, like, you know, you can have the knowledge, but like actually applying it is different.
Exactly, man. Now you hit a point just talking about like the words, because I'm the one that you said this to me 3 years ago, and like, right? It was just like, bro, like, no, like the word. So I think that's, again, especially, I don't do that with the positive words, right? It's the negative words, right? So like not feeling like okay, like, and now like allowing those to cut is just like, well, gotta forgive them. Like maybe they were hurt people, so they were going through something. So it's just like, all right. So again, now it's you choosing. So it's pretty much, I think that's what you said. It's I guess kind of knowing that you're flawed, but giving other people permission to be flawed, and just kind of walking in that, and as opposed to these expectations. So,
yeah, giving people like a room for grace, if you will, and that empathy and compassion. It's like, I can accept you for where you at and where you were at the time. Like my mom's a totally different woman than she was back then, and I know like back then you were, you know, she was, you know, raising 2 kids on her own, 2 bad kids on her own, right? Tupac said, right? So it's like, you know, she was, but all in all, she still provided for us, and she always encouraged us, and like, and so, I mean, I know I'm talking about me, but like with anybody and everybody, you know, like wherever they are at the time, that doesn't mean that's where they're gonna stay. And like appreciating like who they were at that time too, because I'm sure your father said you had so many amazing times with your father as well, and everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Where do you, like, we're not having that trigger right away, where do you see the future with yourself?
Yeah, without that trigger, just I kind of already used friend. I don't want to use the same word twice.
No, please, well, because it's I had a homeboy, he said it earlier, it's like, how can you explain the ineffable? You know what I mean? Like, you've never been through this before, so by all means, whatever words come out, you know what I mean, whatever some sounds come out of your head, don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I just think it's just a little bit of more of moving on, right? It just seems like, or getting to that space of relief faster, right? Like not dwelling on it, if that makes sense. Cool. So yeah, that's not, because I'm like I told you, like a ponderer of this, of that. I'm repeating stuff and situations in my head all the time. But yeah, but that's, you know, kind of got me nowhere, like, or got me in the exact same place I was in, right? So no newness. So yeah, just I guess giving myself permission to just let things go and let things be.
Amen. A greater sense of peace, you know, just knowing like it don't matter. Like you said, it's just a moment.
Exactly.
It's just a moment. Like, this will pass.
Having a moment. We're just having a moment. So, yeah.
Hey, Marcel, thank you so much for showing up for your divine appointment and coming onto the podcast.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, dog. You did great. You did.
Yeah.
Huh?
So I appreciate the unpacking.
Amen. And dropping the baggage. And I'm gonna talk to the audience. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your attention and your support and your love. I truly love each and every one of you guys who listen to the podcast so much. Special shout out to you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna do any special shout outs. Special shout out to Kyle King for having Marcell Jackson on the show. I definitely want to appreciate you. So I definitely let you know how much I appreciate you. But besides that, Marcel, give us some words of wisdom real quick before we tie this up in the boat.
Yeah. Okay. Words of wisdom. Yeah, I would say, yeah, don't discount the the power of one. Like you might be that one person as you go, as you tell your story, as you interact with other people, youth, just anywhere. You might be that one person that changes everything. You might be that one connection. You might be that one resource. So don't be afraid to just put yourself out there, tell your story, and meet someone else.
Amen. Amen. Awesome. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, until next time on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. You take care of yourself and take care of one another. Peace.